All right, welcome back in, everybody. Episode 20 of the Fourth Down Football Show. And then there was four teams remaining in the chase for the Lombardi this season. Melo's Packers got knocked out. Um, I got to do a quick humble brag. I went 4 for 4 in my picks, so I was the only one who picked the Chiefs out of us. So I felt good about that. But how are we doing, guys? Kyle, I'm going to start with you, then we'll get to Melo.
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yeah, I got to watch some football the last few days. Pretty cool from the couch. I've gotten used to this position in more than 1 year. So, yeah, no, I mean, some good football games over the weekend. I'm definitely happy about that. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Melo, how you holding up?
Yeah, everybody can go hump themselves today. Water tastes like shit today. Food tastes like shit. There's gray skies all over the damn place. I mean, listen, I told you boys this when I first hopped on here. If we would have done this podcast Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, tone would be totally different. I would be more upset. I would not have control of the words that would be coming out of my mouth. Kind of like how I do every week. But yeah, I'm slowly getting over it, but I'm still deeply upset and disappointed.
You know, it's okay, Melo. You said about it's gray skies and it's just terrible for you right now. You can come join us though in sunny Cancun right now. It's a nice 76, so come join me and Kyle in Cancun on vacation. We're waiting for you. Come join us, Melo, okay? End of the season here. It's all right. Wasn't meant to be. Jordan Love's first year. Got a lot to build off of though.
Yeah, I guess. But it's easy to forget about that when you're up by 3 points with the ball inside in the red zone with a chance to put the game away. I think Jordan Love's first year, Packers playing with house money completely goes out the window, and you forget about that for a second.
Well, it's really going to go out the window, though, if the rumors become true and get confirmed that Packers are going to make Jordan Love one of the highest paid quarterbacks this
Goddamn
offseason.
right, pay him. He deserved it.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know how you'd feel about that. Some people
Just
aren't
throw.
eager to pay their quarterback. Pay their
Well, they're
quarterback.
That's
not.
for sure.
They're not a Green Bay Packers. So.
Kyle knows a thing or two about that.
Damn right I do, and I'm not happy about it.
All right. Well, we're gonna full on jump into the Packers game here, but then of course we're gonna cover the other three games that took place as well with Buccaneers advance or not. Sorry, the
Whoa!
Lions advancing, not the Buccaneers. Alternate reality there. No,
Was Tom
the
Brady on the
Lions
team again?
advancing. Yeah, maybe because CJ might have been right. The Bucks team would be pretty good with a better quarterback or a real quarterback, whatever he said. Of course, the
The
Chiefs.
haters at it again today.
The Chiefs beating the Bills up there in Buffalo. And then the Ravens really took care of business, sent home a fun Texans team. So we'll get to all of that in a couple minutes here. But starting off with the Packers Niners. We got how you were emotionally feeling, Melo, but maybe more a bit of the actual game side of things. What do you got takeaways wise?
Um, I felt good about it going into the week. I'm sure you guys, whether you listen to the podcast or just you two guys, just my tone. I really thought that the Packers were gonna go in there and get it done, and they did for 53 minutes. Um, you have to. It sucks that you almost have to play perfect, but just some of the mistakes that the Packers made, you can't do that. Can't do that. Dropping pick sixes, your kicker with only one job missing a. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be like this. A chip shot field goal. You should have had that. I'm sorry, you should have. But um, not converting in the red zone, not getting touchdowns. Matt LaFleur, you know, having a brain fart moment with less than 2 minutes left in the game, just completely forgetting how to mismanage the clock. Um, if you go back and watch that game again, And without knowing the ending, you would have thought that the Packers were going to win the game. And then everything just turned when the guy missed the field goal. And you knew that final drive, you knew that the 49ers were going to go down and score and take the lead. Just, it felt like it. I am very proud of this team. It stings. It really does. Because, and a lot of Packer fans have been saying this, future's bright. It is, but you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get like that again. How many opportunities are you going to have to beat the number one seed in the NFC? And it was a great season. And I kept trying to remind myself that Saturday night, but my mind and my heart just wasn't having it. Like, what do you mean it was a great season? You just choked away a game against the 49ers, and let's see how this weekend goes, but you were probably on your way to a Super Bowl again. But, yeah, that's how I felt. But I'm proud of this team. I really thought they were going to pull it off, but that 49ers team, very suspect. They're good, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a blueprint for the Lions to beat the 49ers on Sunday. And I think the Packers may have not finished the deal, but I think they set up the Lions with a perfect blueprint to beat them Sunday afternoon.
Kyle, I know you got some 49ers relation, so I'm sure you were tuned into that game. What do you got?
Yeah. I watched all 4 quarters of this game, and yeah, just building off of what Melo said, I mean, this Packers team, they have a lot to be excited for. They really do. I mean, I think they found the guy in Jordan Love. I love what I've seen out of him second half of the season. And yeah, yesterday they should have won that game without a doubt. They played as the better team, and I still stand by that at this moment. I think they played a much better brand of football for 4 quarters than what the 49ers did. I think the 49ers are playing with their food a little bit too much. Brock Purdy did not look good. I'm just going to go out there and say that. He did not look good at all. Like, I think I saw 2 or 3 good passes. Past that, dude, he was airballing them left and right, overthrowing guys, underthrowing guys. Just, he did not look good. And if this up-and-coming Packers team is going to get to him like that, what makes you think you're going to get past the Lions? What makes you think you're going to, if you do get past the Lions, and who I think they'll see, in Baltimore? Baltimore's a damn juggernaut. I mean, come on. You got to play the brand of football that this 49ers team is designed to play. Use your weapons, use them properly. I'm going to give props to the defense, though, of San Francisco. That defense was damn good, locked down all game. I loved what I saw out of them.
Kept
This
them in the
offense,
game.
man. Yes, 100%. This offense, I think they did fairly well outside of Brock Purdy. But I think this shows just how important a quarterback is to a team. And for Brock Purdy to be taken serious and for him to shut down all these like rumors of him being a product of Kyle Shanahan's system, whatever it is, you got to show up. And he did not do that. They got lucky on this one. I'm going to go out and say that. But if they play like this again against Detroit, against either Kansas City or Baltimore, you are not going to get to the place where you want to. And I think this is almost one of those last hurrahs for the 49ers here. They got to pay a lot of guys next season. And this is already a team that is filled with money. So take care of business this year like everybody knows you can. This is still a damn good team. I'm not going to take that away from them. But Brock Purdy needs to show up next week, 100%. Because if he doesn't, he kind of replicates the game that he played against Green Bay, we're going to be singing a different tone and dance here. We really are.
I think that I don't want to say the 49ers handed the game to the Packers because I wouldn't go that far, but it didn't feel like the 49ers were playing their best brand of football there. Between just not looking dominant, of course, not having Deebo Samuel the whole game hurts their sort of offensive game plan because you can't throw to Travis Kelce, George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey every time. You got to have the third guy there. And Brandon Ayuk is an electric receiver, that's for sure. But the way that they use Deebo Samuel as a gadget sort of guy makes it a little bit more difficult to run their offense the way that they would like to when he is injured. So hopefully he'll be able to play next week against the Lions for that 49ers team. And I just wasn't impressed by the 49ers. That's like, you should come away feeling impressed with a win, but this is a win where you're not feeling overly impressed about. You just squeaked by a Packers team. They should have beat you. I mean, frankly, the Packers and or NFL fans complained a little bit about Mason Crosby at the end of the year, but I think 48-year-old Mason Crosby might have hit that field goal, and
I don't know
Packers
about that.
fans
Trust me.
I think Packers fans would have had a little bit more faith in him than Andres Carlson. So that's my main takeaway, is not feeling impressed by the 49ers compared to where they were a couple weeks ago, when they were the definite number one team in the NFC. Pretty much people would say top two in the NFL. They're juggernaut, all this. You came away feeling not that impressed. Now, whether that's we were underrating the Packers a lot or overrating the 49ers, tough to say, but I just didn't feel overly impressed. So
I think two things can be right at the same time. People were overlooking the Packers a lot, and this 49ers team is maybe not as great as everybody thought they were. Brock Purdy was playing with fire there all game. They were like, he should have had 2 or 3 interceptions, but
Easily.
pick six should have happened, and there was a couple other balls that could have gotten picked off. But yeah, you can't do that this week against Detroit. And you mentioned it. You saw how much the offense changed the minute Deebo Samuel was not in the game. Just, he does so much for that team on offense, and I think the thing that kills me the most for the Packers is, number one, going into that game, every Packer fan was like, hey, you know what? No matter what happens, it was a great season. We weren't expected to be here. You know, we already beat Dallas the week before. And then they lose the game. And then I hear what everybody's saying in the locker room after the game. Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, who had another great game, and he should get his flowers too. They expected to be here, and they expected to win the game. So it was two different feelings going on. You had this fan base that was just happy to be in the NFC Divisional Round. Then you had this Packers team that put a lot of expectations on themselves, especially the second half of the season. And, you know, again, and I mentioned this from the beginning, what stings the most for me is that we lost to them again. Because we've had some bad losses. We've had some heartbreaking losses to this 49ers team. And we've lost it to freaking everybody. We've lost it to Colin Kaepernick. We've lost it to Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo of all people, goddammit. And then we lost to Brock Purdy on Saturday. So it's like this Packers team, just something about the 49ers, they just freak out. But this was the best they played out of all those last couple matchups, and it's just devastating that they couldn't come up with it, because I really thought that the tide was going to change a little bit Saturday.
Well, we never know what kind of future matchups could have in place. The Packers, like we emphasized, they have a bright future. They're on the rise here. They seemingly found their guy at QB, and they got a decent supporting cast around him. So, listen, as long as you continue to go out there and draft well, which the Packers have been pretty good at drafting. They've been a good team at drafting for the most part. So, as long as you can continue to go out there and do that, I don't think there's any reason to be worried or concerned or to be negative. I mean, of course, it's a loss, but other than that, not to be too negative coming into, this new year, which we're already looking at now. But to wrap up things on the NFC side of things, unless anybody else got anything on the Packers or 49ers. No? All right. Lions take down the Buccaneers. game that it could have come down to the wire, but then the second play of the final drive, Baker Mayfield throws an interception to seal the win for the Lions there, which Baker, a nice cap to a season for him, which was a nice little revival season. And this is Baker Mayfield, who was the number 1 overall pick, took Cleveland to a playoff game, lost his job, traded to Carolina, became a backup there pretty much, went out to the Rams, decent little end of the season, got some snaps there, and then brought into Tampa, fought for the starting job. Didn't have an insane MVP caliber season, but had a nice QB season. Honestly, like throwing for 28, I think it was, regular season touchdown passes. Yeah, that's pretty good. You'll take that. He's not turning the ball over too much, but he's a little bit of a gambler with the ball. That's for sure. It's nothing you didn't know, though, when you were A, drafting him, or B, trading for him, or C, signing him in free agency. So he is a free agent now after this year, so we'll see what the Bucs do there, if they want to bring him back again, or maybe they want to try and trade up if they have any draft picks. I don't even know what the draft pick situation looks like, so I shouldn't say that. But back to the game. I don't want to say the Lions underwhelmed again, but maybe a little bit. Jared Goff got a little bit blessed there, a drop interception in the end zone, and he already had an interception earlier in the game, I believe. Could be mistaken that for Baker Mayfield, but it just felt like not the best Lions team that we could have seen, but not their best effort out there in that game. But that's what I saw. They ended up getting the win. What do you guys got on it?
They're doing just enough. Now, doing just enough is not going to get it done against the San Francisco 49ers team Sunday. But, yeah, you can see it. You could definitely see it out of this team. It's crazy how things can just change in sports, because coming into the year, yeah, people were expecting the Lions to be good, but I don't think they were expecting them to be this good. And now, after winning the division and having home playoff games, fans are expecting them to do something great and get far. And they just squeaked away against the Rams. And they just squeaked away yesterday against Tampa. But this team is just finding a way. And I think and I don't think Lion fans care right now how they win, as long as they get a win. But Detroit fired up again Saturday. That's a fun atmosphere to be at. And I wish Packers would have won Saturday, because then Detroit would have had a home game for the NFC Championship game, and I would have liked my chances in that game. But anyways, yeah, this team is doing just enough for me. It's not great, but Jared Goff is doing just enough.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit it right there. I'm still waiting to see that big Jared Goff game. I want to see it. I do. I want to see this guy go out there and put the whole city of Detroit on his back and just absolutely ball out. I don't want I want a convincing win out of this Detroit team. I think it'll be fun. But no, I mean, like you guys said, I think they're doing just enough, and I don't really think their fan base cares, to be honest with you. They just want to win, man. They haven't had it in so long. So ugly win, good win, whatever it is, as long as they keep advancing, that's all that matters. But this coach is putting, I mean, I said this last week too. He's a fun dude to play for, man. He's getting these guys on his back, and he is carrying this entire city. And I think it's such a cool thing to see. Whether this run ends or keeps going after next week, whatever it is, I think it is nothing but good vibes in Detroit, and I think it's only going to get better from here. Even if they do lose against San Francisco, I think they keep drafting correct. I think they got a good core of guys here. They just got to keep going, man. Yeah, I'm excited for this Detroit team. Definitely underdogs here.
Yeah. Jared Goff did not have an interception. He just basically almost threw at least one
Should have
in
happened.
that game. Yeah. So, like you guys said, not a knock your socks off type of game by the Lions by any means, but a win is a win at this point when you've been out of the playoffs for 16 years in a row. Oh, a win is a win, and you're one game away from being in the Super Bowl, which is insane to say. The Detroit Lions are a game away from being in the Super Bowl. Doesn't exactly feel right, but hey, they're doing justice to Barry Sanders and to
Calvin
Megatron, and
Johnson.
yes, and even Matthew Stafford in a way. All those guys who just great Lions players who passed through Detroit there and just didn't get the opportunity with the Lions themselves. But yeah, I think that's gonna put a. Go ahead.
Win for Matt Patricia, goddammit. Win for Matt Patricia.
Nope, he was released from his duties by the Eagles because
Shocker.
we got rid of everybody except for Nick Sirianni. So, but we're not talking about the Eagles today. So moving on to the AFC side of things, Chiefs and Bills. Josh Allen and the Bills yet again lose in the playoffs and
Wide right.
did not reach the promised land. It just seems to be the story every year for the Bills. We see Stephon Diggs standing on the field watching the other team celebrate every year, like he's going to come back next year and change it. But so far, we haven't seen that. So listen, my biggest thing here is just when are we going to see this from the Bills? When are we going to see them actually take the next step and advance to a Super Bowl? Win the AFC Championship game, and this year they didn't even make it. So when are we going to see that next step from Buffalo? I'm not in favor of teams just tearing it down if they're good, but not good enough to win the championship. I'm not in favor of that, but questions do start to get asked when some of these guys' contracts become not Josh Allen, but some of these other surrounding pieces when their contracts are up for either renewal or you're going to let them go as a free agent. It's like, well, we haven't made it to the promised land so far. When is Josh Allen going to stop getting excuses made for him? Because he hasn't shown up in the biggest stages yet. The Bills haven't shown up in the biggest stages yet. Hats off to Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid there for getting the job done in
Taylor Swift.
Bills and Taylor Swift in Bills Mafia territory there. I think it was all because Jason Kelce was there, though. That'd be my guess.
Yeah. Shirt off, chugging beers and stuff. What a life.
Good for him. But not impressed by the Bills. Not anything positive to say about the Bills.
Yeah, and I am so sick and tired of Stephon Diggs. This guy bitches and complains about everybody else. And then when it's time for him to step up and be the wide receiver, number one, no show. 21 receiving yards. And he dropped a 70-yard bomb that looked like it was in the air for forever. Goes right through your hands and you can't catch it. This guy complains a lot for not showing up in these games. Josh Allen didn't play great yesterday, but I don't think he was the reason why they lost. I think it was just a surrounding cast. Now, he did miss a ball I think that was their final possession. He did miss a ball. He had Diggs wide open in the end zone, and he just underthrew it. That was on him. But Josh Allen put them in a position to at least tie the game, send it in overtime maybe. Kicker just missed the field goal. And you got to feel for the Bills fans because they do so much and they care about their teams. How many of those people were out there shoveling snow for the last couple of weeks? And this is how they get rewarded. Freaking Mahomes comes in there, guy misses the field goal. And can we talk about how insane this run that the Chiefs are on? 6 straight NFC Championship games. Mahomes, every year since he's been in the league, has been in the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. It's pretty impressive to me. There's every team in the NFL would kill for their ceiling to be NFC Championship game or better. Every team would take that. But yeah, huge disappointment. I said last week that the Bills should have won this game because they had it at home finally. And nothing changes. So sucks to be a Bills fan. I feel for them, but everybody's pointing the finger right now, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. This is a game that I feel the Bills should have won. Um, I'm not discrediting Mahomes, Kelsey, any of the Chiefs supporting cast at all. Um, but it's just the fact, like, going into this game, I had a different feeling. I really did. I thought it was finally Josh Allen and the Bills going to the AFC Championship, and yet again, the script just doesn't change. Same dance, same story every single year with these Bills, man. No, I think it is starting. It's starting to get to that point where this front office needs to start asking questions, just like you said, Matt. I don't know where that starts. I don't know where that ends. But these questions do need to start being asked because this is a team that should have made at least one Super Bowl appearance in the last few seasons. I understand the Chiefs dynasty ran in your way. I totally get it. But at the same time, you have the pieces around you to get this done. I'm sorry, you do. Um, so yeah, I mean, congrats to the Chiefs, man. Just like you said, Melo, they are on an historic run. I think it's pretty damn impressive. Um, Andy Reid, I mean, not much more you can say about the guy. He's a phenomenal coach. Patrick Mahomes, phenomenal quarterback. Um,
Hi ho.
this team just don't bet against them. I'm still gonna do it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see next week. I'm very interested for next week.
Chiefs Ravens is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah,
Now I gotta add in here. What was that DeMar Hamlin fake punt play there by the
Whoa!
Bills? I'm just saying. I
Just trying to
it
lock up comeback player of the year there.
I guess it just didn't seem like a good play design. And if you're gonna be going for it, I know it's like on your own 30 and fourth and more than 10. I think it was like 13 or something. You think you got to feel a little more confident in giving the ball to Josh Allen and trying to have him get to either Gabe Davis, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Stephon Diggs, one of those guys, or have Josh Allen run it, than hand it off to a backup safety and special teamer guy on a punt. It's not about it being DeMar Hamlin, and of course the story, we all know his story. It's not about that. It's just it seems like an interesting play call there, period, to hand it off to a guy there when you have elite playmakers at your quarterback, your tight end, and your wide receiver position, and you decide to put the ball in the hands of a guy who's not, and he's not a superstar with the ball in his hands historically. It's not like he's a great punt returner or anything like that, too. It just seems like an interesting decision by the Bills. That's what I gotta say on it.
Yeah, some of these coaches love to get cute, and for some reason they have this weird fascination about taking the ball out of their best players' hands and just trying to get cute with it. I think some questions have to be raised about Sean McDonough. I thought he should have been out after last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got the boot because I think there's some question marks there about him. Now, it should have started 6 weeks ago when he said a certain thing about how he gets his team excited before the games. That should have been the starting point. But I think you got to look at Sean McDonough and say, well, what's going on here? Because I don't think he's the guy to lead this team to a Super Bowl.
I'll clarify. It was not fourth and more than 10. It was 4th and 5. I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. But still, doesn't take away from my point at all. But yes, interesting. Sean McDermott, if he should be fired, because defensive mind there. But when you think of the Bills, I don't know, maybe. When you think of the Bills, you don't think about their defense, really. You think of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and the offense. So it just feels like you need a guy to put that all together on the Bills offense, because you can see times where they pop off, but then you see other times where they're just flat on offense too. So if you're bringing in an offensive guy to put that all together for the Bills, might be the answer. Excuse me, might be the answer there up in Buffalo to take them to the next level. But I think we're going to move on to the final game here. We didn't discuss yet. Ravens and Texans.
Worst game of the week.
It sure was, but it was exciting to watch Lamar Jackson do his thing. I mean, I've been hammering Lamar Jackson for MVP, and I know postseason doesn't necessarily go into it, or it's a mixed opinion if it should or shouldn't. Some people say no, but Lamar Jackson for MVP. He's the most valuable player in the league this year, and this Ravens team, I'm not sure anybody's stopping them. And that looks like in the AFC Championship game, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough pick here in a second when we get into those picks for me. I still don't know who I'm going to pick. But the Ravens just look so good in that game, dominating on all sides of the ball. And when you have a guy like Lamar Jackson who's that dynamic and not limited to just running the ball, though, like he's a great passer of the football too. There's so many ways you can go with that offense. There was just a genius play call they had, just faking the handoff, and then Lamar took it around the edge, and it just looked so perfect on a fourth down. And I was like, that just looked like an amazing play right there. It looked so natural. It wasn't obvious that Lamar was taking it because they have so many other ways that they can go with the ball. Whether it is Lamar running it, whether it is Lamar throwing it, whether it's handing it off, you feel great about anything the Ravens are doing on offense. And then not to mention that defense is stacked too. They're making CJ Stroud, he didn't have a bad game, so to say. Pull up his stats here in a minute because I guess I don't want to talk out of turn yet again. But this Ravens defense is good enough to stifle some of the best in the league too. I mean, the Texans only putting up 10 points for a team that was pretty electric throughout the whole season, with CJ Stroud, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 175 yards on 33 attempts. I'd say you did pretty good shutting that down. So I'm excited for this Ravens team. We'll get to picks in a minute here, but Kyle, I'm curious to see what you're thinking on this Ravens team, this win.
I don't have much to say, man. I really don't. They are a juggernaut. They dominate game after game. I said this at the beginning of the year. Finally, the Ravens put some weapons around Lamar Jackson. Finally, and it shut down all the people of saying, "Oh, he's just a mobile quarterback." Well, guess what? That's all he really could do, considering what the Ravens have put around him in the last few seasons. They finally got him some help. They beefed up their defense, and look. Here you go. This is exactly what you need to do. I'm not taking anything away from the Texans. I think they have a damn good future. I absolutely love that team. I think Stroud is the guy. I'm excited to see what they do in the future, in this year's draft, next year's draft, whatever it is. But no, I really don't have much to say. I think this Ravens team is a damn good team, and they look pretty damn unstoppable right now. They really do.
Melo?
Oh, you waited for me? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, this is it was a little shaky in the first half. It was tied, but the Texans missed a field goal, and that changed everything. Yeah, this is what the number one seed in the AFC is supposed to do. So it's a good win, and there's no. And I can't believe I'm going to do this again, but there's no reason why they should lose on Sunday. Can't believe I said that again for the second straight week in a row, but they shouldn't. They have everything on their side. They have the better team. They have the home field advantage. Shouldn't lose on Sunday.
I think that leads us right into predictions for NFC and AFC championship game. Here we go. We're talking about the Ravens. Melo's got the Ravens, I'm going to guess. Ravens, Chiefs.
I'm going to go Ravens. Lions. I really think the Lions get it done Sunday. Now, part of it's because I'm a bitter Packer fan, and I don't want the 49ers to win anything. So, I just think the 49ers got exposed a little bit on Sunday. And I think a week's worth of practice, and I think the Lions are going to put it together. They're going to do what the Packers should have done last weekend. I think your Super Bowl matchup is Lions-Ravens.
Kyle?
Very interesting. I'm picking Ravens. I feel a lot more confident in that pick than I did last week. Now moving on to the NFC side of things, it's where it gets a little tricky. I personally am just going to tell myself it's because Brock Purdy had a week off, and he's going to return to form against Detroit. I think the 49ers get it done. They should. They have absolutely no reason not to. So my pick's going to be 49ers Ravens.
All right. I'm gonna mirror those picks, and I don't. Surprisingly, I think I'm gonna say reverse. I don't feel confident about the Ravens pick. I just don't like picking against Patrick Mahomes.
I get that.
And
no, I get it.
It's and Andy Reid. It's two of those guys that like just football. You combine a football genius in Andy Reid and a guy who is like a superhuman on the football field in Mahomes, who can take the game in his hands when his team is on offense and completely flip the script. That's just two guys you don't bet against usually. Now the Ravens, I feel pretty good about their win last week coming off. It's not like they had a shaky win or anything, but I'm going to take the Ravens and I'm going to take the Niners. I feel pretty confident in that one over the Lions. Lions just aren't quite there yet. I mean, hey, first year back in the playoffs to make it to the NFC Championship game. Got to feel pretty good about that. Take some more steps forward. I'm not sure this is quite your year, though. Yeah, give me Niners Ravens in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. We don't have a bunch more games to predict this week, so we're getting there. We're almost at the Super Bowl, guys, and we'll see if it's a.
Who cares anymore?
Oh, come on. We all know you'll be tuning in, Melo.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Hopefully not too much Taylor Swift in the next game. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it can get a little much sometimes. So
then turn the game off.
I'm not going to do that. So
and deal with it.
No, I'm just saying the camera operators, they don't need to have somebody dedicated to Taylor Swift's booth. We don't need to see her dapping up Brittany Mahomes, but
give the people what America wants to see. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, I think that's going to do it here for episode 20. Yeah, we'll see you again next week after the championship game. We'll have a Super Bowl matchup. Enjoy the football, and we'll talk to you next week. See ya.
Adios.